Whatever the occasion, effortless elegance is right this way. Because Hilton brings you new ways to stay courtesy of the Nomad London. And it doesn't stop at award-winning dining in a space draped in velvet and illuminated by vintage chandeliers. No, this day goes beyond with unparalleled personalized service and attentive hospitality. Oh, and did we mention the Nomad London can be booked using your Hilton Honors points at Hilton.com? Hilton, for the stay.
This episode is brought to you by Nespresso and Samra Origins by the Weekend Coffee Collection.
Introducing Samra Origins. My collaboration with Nespresso is a connection to my roots, to my mother, Samra. Coffee that hits the right notes. It transports you. Crafted with unique notes and bold, soaring flavors. Experience a taste that moves you. Nespresso and Samra Origins.
Discover more at Nespresso.com.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, it's this time of the week that we like to say,
Welcome to Eejits of the World!
History.
Part 3.
Oh, yes! With you,
Glenn Wool and you,
Andrew Maxwell. And what a cornucopia of clowns from the history books we have for you this week. We have the Eejits of...
nautical film druggings.
We have the Eejits of graphic design.
We have the Eejits of Hollywood legends.
And finally, we have the Eejits of military facial hair. Do you have a story for me, Mr. Glenn?
I do, and we can't put this to one person. This is the mystery still continues. Ooh. They don't know exactly what happened, but it was on the set of the movie Titanic, the classic. Yeah.
What happened?
Well, they were enjoying some chowder.
In Mexico?
No, it was in Nova Scotia.
Oh, thank God.
Yeah, Mexican chowder. That's all you need to tell about that story.
That sounds like it's some nasty slang.
Yeah.
You got some Mexican chowder down there. Let's just say you got a bad dose of Mexican chowder.
Yeah, not every antibiotic works on that, you know. If you get the wrong fish, you're in trouble.
Yeah, you eat Mexican chowder, you need a side chaser of bleach.
Yeah.
Rinse that mouth out. Yes, okay, so
they're in Nova Scotia, they're enjoying chowder.
This is Leonardo DiCaprio.
Yeah, Da Vinci. Leonardo da Vinci. Kate Moss.
Kate Moss. Yeah. Fall in love on a car ferry between Dublin and Holyhead, if I remember correctly.
And the Irish are depicted very truthfully and honestly as just drunken fiddlers. Drunken fiddlers.
God almighty, I wish I had a comeback for that. But that's historically pretty much there.
Yeah, he dropped his bow when they said it. So
oh, that kind of fiddler.
Yeah.
Very good. Okay, so we have, so the Titanic.
Yeah, they're making a movie. Everything's going well. They're in
Canada.
They're in Canada. What could be safer?
In Nova Scotia,
In Nova Scotia. Even safer. New Scotland, if you speak Welsh.
Yeah.
And,
or Latin.
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
So they're all enjoying this big bowl of, they're all...
There's just one giant bowl of chowder?
They did. They had, they were getting it out of one place.
Gotcha.
You know,
right.
They're
not going off each scoring chowder.
No.
They're all like, there's a mega bowl of chowder.
That's right.
There's a ladle.
They're like bees to the hive of chowder.
Of chowder. Yeah. Of the sea hive. This episode
Bees of the sea hive.
Great band. Go on.
Yeah.
Yes.
And somebody was disappointed with somebody on the set because they managed to slip a biblical amount of PCP into the chowder.
Angel dust.
Angel dust, my friend. Because when was this movie made? Like 90,
Early 90s? Was it?
yeah. I don't even know where you would get angel dust in the early 90s. It kind of gone out. People don't do angel dust anymore.
Well, that's the retro quality of the maritime provinces.
Yeah.
Something tells me they're still doing a lot of stuff that went out of fashion a long time ago on the eastern seaboard of Canada.
Well, like the Newfoundlanders are still talking like Irish people from the 1600s.
Like people from Wexford.
Yeah.
They've a bang-on Wexford accent. As an Irishman, I can tell you, I only listened to a documentary about Newfies the other day. And there was two Irishmen who've got a podcast, I think, and they were interviewing these Newfie fishermen, and I couldn't tell which was which.
Really?
I couldn't tell who was a Canadian.
Well, a bowl of chowder wouldn't have helped. And this didn't happen to Kate or Leonardo. They weren't on set that day. But Bill Pullman,
Bill Paxton.
Oh,
the other Bill Pullman.
They're the same person.
They are pretty much the same person.
There's no difference between them. Flip them over. It's same bits.
Sorry, Bill Paxton, I have to say, this is an incredible quote. So they all started tripping, right? He said some people were laughing, some people were crying, and some people were throwing up. I was like, that's a cruise. You just described the international industry of cruising, Bill.
Yeah. Well,
Pullman Paxton.
James Cameron apparently, when it all kicked in, stood up and announced, "Something's alive in me, get it out!" To which the rest of the crew that was also now really ripping on angel dust formed a conga line around him. And you gotta think, like, any of the vegans are just watching this going, like, what the hell is going on?
Yeah, exactly. Just sitting there eating their weird cheese. Cheese that they cannot get anybody else to taste.
Yeah, there's always the vegan cheese left over.
Isn't weird, isn't it?
Yeah.
Always a little bit.
Yeah.
I had somebody genuinely go, "It's a vegan, tell me about vegan cheese." They went, try it. And they go, now it does taste a little bit like sick. I can't tell you how a small amount of something has to taste like sick before I declare it all tasting like sick.
It will eventually. That's what you know about vegan cheese.
So there's Cameron. He's in the middle. He's got something living inside him. Everybody else is congaing around him.
Yeah, and I mean, this is only oral history, but like, were they keeping it together? Like, dun, 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 dun. Like how good of a conga line was it? Because you got to go. Bup, bup, bup. Yeah. I can't imagine an angel dust conga line was anything succinct. like it was probably somebody watching go, it most resembled a conga line, but it looked more like a diseased snake.
Yeah.
Right at the end of its life.
Yeah, some sort of weird thing that happened in Germany in the Middle Ages. The St. Vitus dance.
The apples were poisoned and no one knew about it.
For over 40 years. We thought the apples were the cure.
The orchard by the lead mine turned out to be a very bad idea.
For the lead. So brilliant. The whole cast. All the cast of fucking Titanic. Near, far. I can't judge distance.
Yeah, you're both near and far right now. Hey, you, come here, go away. What?
Just tripping out of your head. It's somebody trying to explain the plot to you. Just like, so we're going to be in the biggest boat in history. And then a giant ice cube's going to kill us. But it's cool because Kate Winslet's just going to let Leonardo DiCaprio drown.
Yeah. Mine. This is all mine.
This was.
I know this. There's gonna be a thing there. I'm sorry, Leo. You
There was
can't.
so much room on that fucking iceberg for him.
What if I gain weight? Then there'll be no room for you. So let's just not have a problem to start with.
Let's just not make. So what happened in the end? How did it play out?
I think, everybody just came down and they didn't have any sort of lasting effects. You know, most drugs are like that. You just get high and then you come back and you just get on with your life. I don't know. I don't know what kind of movie they were making before they made Titanic.
I think we found out how Avatar came about. I was busy making this movie about a famous boat. Next thing I'm all I can think about is Space Smurfs.
Yeah. Yeah, they finally convinced him to make it in a different movie.
Yeah.
The next day he was like, no, I think the ship's going to land and we'll put these blue guys on the Titanic. The real reason the boat sank.
Yeah.
There's big lanky Smurfs.
The blue Space Smurfs. It's going to be a crazy movie. It's about Space Smurfs. And other than that, it's basically Dancing with Wolves.
Basically.
It is Dancing with Wolves. That's all you need.
It's weird about those Avatar movies. They're the most popular movies ever, I think. I think they made the most money, but nobody ever talks about them.
Well, what's there to talk about?
Yeah, but every other movie that's been that
There's
popular.
no quote. There's no quote in them. What's the famous quote?
Do you know what I liked in it? It was Jermaine Clement, our friend from Flight of the Conchords. He plays the scientist in Way of the Water, or whatever the next one was called.
Oh, really?
He does, and he's because they were killing all the space whales, and she was like, the little girl or something was like, why do you do this? And he goes, this is the reason I drink.
Is that what Jermaine says?
And I remember thinking, oh, he actually doesn't drink in real life.
So
that's
factually incorrect.
And, well, I felt like it was cultural appropriation. Me and the rest of the men down at the Society of Drunks were very upset about our representation in film because we're not allowed on sets anymore.
That's right. Me and Tipsy Mac Stagger were quite insulted.
I'm not allowed in that federation anymore either. Haven't been for about a year now.
But he went on, didn't he, Cameron? He went on to invent submarines.
Wow. How did he do that?
Well, apparently it was all to do with, like, he wanted for all the footage. He invented special submarines, and then he got into submarines.
Oh.
And then he's actually built his own, because he's a billionaire, isn't he? Off the back of those two movies. So he went on to invent his own. He's one of the billionaire dudes that goes down in their own submarines to the bottom of the world.
Oh my God.
But he builds them himself and maintains them so they don't go.
That'd be the very last thing I'd do if I was a billionaire.
Yeah. But it just shows you that paranoia that he got from that PCP served him well. He got scared. He's a little bit scared in the back of his mind. What if that submarine go?
Yeah.
I'm not saying that he's doing PCP now. I'm just saying that.
Oh, come on. He's probably having a few bowls of chowder down in a submarine. Couple of angel chowders.
Yeah, in the news report at the time, it's because they've never found out who who is the secret doper of Nova Scotia.
Yeah,
they don't know. But in the local news at the time, the Newfoundland stroke the Nova Scotian
the Nova
Bugle.
Scotia flounder.
The Nova Scotian Bugle, I believe it's called. They said they suspected it was a disgruntled worker.
Yeah.
Oh, you think, do you? Is that is not one of the... You know what I mean?
Yeah. Who else would do that? You know?
Only the disgruntled.
No, yeah, you don't just assume with an angel dust high. Who wouldn't want to be high? I mean, they're already having their dinner. Why wouldn't they want to be really, really high on a crazy, crazy drug? I was gonna ask them, but then I thought I've never heard anyone say no before.
Such a horrific pairing as well. Like, who wouldn't want to be violently tripping out of the mind while also full of fish and cream?
The secret ingredient is peyote.
Yeah, you know what I mean? You can have like mushroom. You can get magic mushrooms infused in chocolate. You know what I mean? You can see that makes sense.
Tea is very nice. And then you eat the mushrooms at the bottom of the tea. And oh my Lord.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But not creamy fish in chowder. The grossest thing to mix with. Oh God. But apparently people just start dancing around and people were like, hey. Do you know what they started noticing? People kept going back for seconds and thirds. Anybody true? That was the moment somebody who didn't had a fish allergy and didn't have any just went, something's really weird going on. Like nobody's like crazy for chowder, right? You have a bowl of chowder as a starter in a seafood restaurant.
Yeah.
But not like 4 bowls, man.
Because this would be like Hollywood in the 90s. It'd just be like, this is really weird. Nobody is taking the blood out of their babies right now and injecting them. It's all just this chowder that where's the adrenochrome is just good. Nobody's taking it.
It's just all these dudes tripping on biker bulls, just like eating bowl after bowl of chowder. The first thing I realised, everybody started singing Leonard Skinner together all at once. Sweet home Alabama.
Nobody's playing with the child actor's feet. It's really this isn't the Hollywood I know.
Why is nobody being creepy around Lindsay Lohan?
Yeah, what? Stay away from that soup till we get to the bottom of this.
Lindsay.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. So somewhere out there, my friends, history buffs, there is the secret doper of Nova Scotia.
In a fedora and a raincoat right now, and you can only... He always holds the sleeve in front of his nose and his face. You can just see his eyes darting around.
There he is, just in a sou'wester.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't even mean to dope him out. I had my bag of PCP and my other hand's a hook. And I accidentally carved it open, and next thing the whole thing's gone tits up.
Oh, jeez, I lost all my PCP and I didn't even get a bowl of the soup. They liked it so much.
Greedy is what they are, those Hollywood types.
Yeah, that we're used to it around here.
We're used to stuff, you know. We got telegraph wires come into Halifax. We get the news first over here.
Yeah, that's right.
Kaiser's gone. Kaiser's, he's done a midnight flick. No more Kaiser.
Glad to see the back of him.
Yeah, goddamn Teutonic tyrant. Yeah. Anyway, there you go.
All right. We salute you.
Well, we salute you.
You little soup spiker.
Soup spiker of love.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm glad everybody survived.
Yeah, and I wish James Cameron would have brought it up in his speech accepting the Oscar. And a little thank you out there to, we don't know.
We don't know. Just a black and white TV.
Yeah.
On a hill above the town. I'm famous, Martha.
Yeah, I knew it would work.
Yeah. Knew it. God, it's just so good to have been part of the creative process. Right then.
Yeah.
Well, let us move on.
Okay.
For I have a tale for you.
I'd love to hear it.
Well, good, because that's what's going to happen with your face is now going to hear it. There's a man. This is the history of the emoji.
Oh.
Or before the emoji. The original emoji, of course, which is...
Smiley face.
Smiley face, exactly.
Have a nice day.
Have a nice day. This is... It's quite a sad story, really. It's kind of... so it was... The smiley face was invented by a man called Harvey Ball. Really... You know what I like working with you? You find comedy anywhere. That was enough. Harvey Ball was enough to set you up. Yeah. You're a good audience. Do you know that, Mr. Glenn? You're fucking terrible. Harvey Ball, in 1963.
Okay.
This is such a crazy story how the smiley face logo came about. He was commissioned by an insurance company.
Mm-hmm.
Right? They wanted something to cheer up their staff.
Right.
They felt that people that were in the insurance game were slightly depressed. What would it been? Essentially gambling against yourself.
Yeah.
You know, you're gambling on you having misfortune.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not exactly an uplifting thing to be involved in.
And if it goes wrong, you don't even get the benefit of it. Some other prick.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the roofer gets all the money.
Yeah. Or you're dead and, you know, your family gets it.
The relatives now have all my money. Yeah, so he invented it. Mm-hmm. He was commissioned to create this logo to cheer up the people in the...
Well, thank God they didn't hire Harvey Smile. Show him all a picture of his balls.
It's a very different historical story. The story of Harvey Smiles, who invented the ball.
Have a sweaty day.
Sweaty day. Oh, I'm ashamed of how much I amused. That amused me. Anyway, he got paid $45 for his work.
Wow.
Which in today's money is apparently worth $450.
Yeah.
Still...
Back in those days, you could buy a house with that.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that was a deposit for a condominium.
Yeah.
Which to this day, I'm still not sure what that is.
It's an apartment that you own.
Oh, well, thank you for that.
Mm-hmm. And it's also something you put on hot dogs.
Somebody pass me the condominium, please. That's the spicy one. But here's the thing. So it became a rip-roaring success, right? They started handing out little badges, little buttons.
Yeah.
With and it's. But he and then came along the Summer of Love, and all the hippies started wearing the badges. Because it's such a positive...
Right.
Yeah, look, it's this little yellow-faced creature smiling, so I'm going to smile back at it. And that way the world will become a better place.
Yeah.
They
just had a bit too much chowder.
They find there's quite a lot of fishing went on. But here it goes south for the old boy, right? For old Harvey Ball. And by the way, you've got to see it. I mean, it is the thing of beauty. Have a look at the picture of Harvey Ball. Throw it up there. Let's have a look at Harvey. This is the man who invented the smiley face.
He's the upside down smiley face.
You can clearly see that he did not invent it while looking in the mirror. It's saddest. I mean, honestly.
Or he put a mirror on the table. And then he looked over like, oh, put a mirror. Oh, I think I got an idea here.
This dude looks like he's smoking 100 fags a day. Anyway, but it turns out he is justified in being that grim looking.
Oh.
Why? Well, I'll tell you why.
He's named after a testicle. That's why.
And a French journalist... This is the bit where you start booing, because this is where the villain of the piece enters. A French journalist. Boo. That's two of the worst things in the world. A French
Two wrongs don't make a right.
As I said to my girlfriend's mistress. Make any sense. His name is the implausible Franklin Lufrani.
No, that's a spy.
It should be.
Yeah.
Anyway, Franklin Lufrani, the French journalist, he sees this. He decides to trademark it. Right? He trademarks it. Names it the Smiley. It wasn't previous to that. It had no name.
Right.
It was just this enigmatic, yellow smiling thing. He trademarked it, called it the Smiley. And to this day, the company, which is called the Smiley Company, which is now run by his son, Franklin Lufrani's son, and they make $500 million a year.
Wow.
From licensing it out.
You'd think it'd be smirking by now.
Yeah, exactly. Or even frowning. Guys, the world's so unjust. We know, smiley face. Yeah, $500 million. And an old Harvey Ball never got a penny of it.
And is Harvey still with us? Or
No, Harvey passed away a couple of years back.
His wife's got a nudicle now.
But in all fairness, his son in an interview, Harvey Ball's son in an interview, said that his dad was never bothered. Didn't bother him.
Wow.
Which means that although, as you can...
What a testament to heroin. He was always just nodding out in his chair. He didn't care.
He didn't know he'd missed $500 million a year.
I mean, he was more focused on finding more heroin that day. But most days he was sort of scratching around trying to get a lot of heroin.
Just holding up a smiley face. Can you make this happen for me? I need to look like this for 10 minutes. Yeah, no, in all fairness to him, in a world full of self-important, bitter people, it is pretty cool that he maintained a certain amount of sang-froid.
Sure, but if you don't have the good stuff in life, all the money in the world's not going to change that. So maybe he just had a nice family and a good life, and
Well,
how much extra do you need after
well,
$500 million?
Yeah,
how much I need.
Franklin Lufrani needs $500 million.
Yeah, but is Franklin? Let's talk to Frank's kid. Find out how happy he ended up.
Well, we don't know.
No, probably.
Probably pretty good.
I mean, I'm just trying to...
I mean, it's just to find Franklin Lufrani's kid, we're going to have to hire a yacht and just plough up and down the coast to Côte d'Azur all summer. Whereas something tells me we can find Harvey Ball's kid through the phone book.
It's the last guy still in the phone book. They're that broke. We can't afford Google. We can't afford it.
Can't afford the subscription fee for Google. Pricey number.
We're still using the phone book, and we're happy. We're happy with that.
Well, actually, we mock, but we stand with the Ball family. Good for you.
And side by side.
Good for you.
With the balls.
Yeah.
One of us lower than the other.
But he... We appreciate how the Ball family have made the daily adjustment.
If given the opportunity, I'd like to play.
Well, in the biopic,
I'd like to play.
You'd like to play Harvey Ball.
I'd like to play the balls.
You be the patres familias of the Ball family, and I will play the French villain of the piece.
Oui.
Dun, dun, dun. I smell ill-gotten gains. Also didn't trademark it, Harvey. Well.
I mean, how sneaky is that guy too? Just running around seeing what's been trademarked. you don't even think that. Like, how do you know? Was he just calling every day? Like, is there spoon trademark?
This is, it's always with my nose, you see. I have a very fine nose. As strange in the finest fromageries. Then from the cheese to the wine, and from the wine to the plundering other people's creative assets. Well, there you go.
Yeah.
Well, nevertheless, we salute you, Harvey Ball, for your incredibly unique and brilliant contribution to modern culture.
Yeah.
And sorry you didn't get any of that money.
No. I wish there was an emoji of you getting some money. There's not.
Finding a new job is stressful. But with Indeed, it doesn't have to be. Just fill out your Indeed profile with your skills, experience, and desired salary. The more you fill out, the better your matches will be. And hearing from hiring managers will be 2 times more likely. Relax. That's your Indeed profile sending opportunities your way. Indeed, the world can work better.
Do you have a story for me, Mr. Gill?
I do. From the annals of time. You know I enjoy reading biographies.
You do?
I do.
I do, too.
This is my story, Andrew.
Please.
Jackie Gleason. You remember Jackie Gleason of the Honeymooners fame?
Absolutely. The Great One, I believe he was called.
Yeah. And he didn't, or the greatest one. I think the great one's Wayne Gretzky.
Right. Well, either way, it's still pretty good, whatever it is.
Yeah. So once you're quibbling over that, you still.
Actually, they call me the greatest one.
Wow. I couldn't help but notice when you paged me, you said the great one. Now, that's not right. The greatest. Why are you economical with the EST? It's something I prefer. So this is in his life. This was
give the people who probably aren't steeped in North American culture. Who is Jackie Gleason?
He was in the Honeymooners, like to the moon, Alice. He also played.
Well, what's that? What's the Honeymooners?
It was the biggest sitcom in the world,
right? Yeah.
And I think the first like smash hit one. I think it would have even preceded I Love Lucy. And he also played the sheriff in Smokey and the Bandit.
Oh, with the little pencil mustache. Mm-hmm. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Right.
Rufus T. Justice or whatever
it
was. Yeah. And just an American classic. He was in The Color of Money. The first Color of Money.
A good one.
Played Minnesota Fats.
Yes. And he was.
I think we all know how he got that role. A little Hollywood inside story.
Let's just say he was not Scandinavian.
Yeah. So anyway, this was when he was he'd gone to Los Angeles to make it in the movie business and ended up in a few movies, but he wasn't enjoying himself. So he decided, he's from New York.
Yeah.
He decides to go back to New York and live there, and gets on a plane. The plane has engine trouble and crashes in Phoenix, Arizona.
Right.
But he lives, but like, I mean, can you imagine being in a plane crash beside Jackie Gleason, one of the finest comedic actors in the world, like slapstick, you know, we're going down. Like it would be, if you had to be in a plane crash, you'd get a few laughs out of it.
Yeah, you'd want him to go big.
Yeah.
What was he like? Just really quiet. Just holding a pair of rosary beads with his head between his legs. Not very funny.
Yeah. He wouldn't sign my autograph. But so the plane goes down. They get out, and they said, not like a fiery crash, just engine trouble, bumpy landing,
emergency landing.
I think they hit a tree too on the landing. So he's quite rightly spooked, and they say, "Well, look, there'll be another plane. We'll get you to New York." tomorrow, and he flat out he refused. He's like, no, I don't want to get on another plane. I'm just gonna get in a train and take a train to New York,
right,
as is his right. But it was back in the times where there were no credit cards, and he didn't have a wallet on him, or he didn't have any ID,
right,
but he had his checkbook with him. So he's going shop to shop because he goes to the train station and they tell him the ticket, but they had to take cash. So now he's got to get enough cash together,
right,
to take this train. So he's going from business to business in Phoenix going, can you cash a check for me?
Insanely famous Jackie.
No, he wasn't famous at the time. He'd been in movies, but it hadn't really
right. So he's not
worked out. This is before the Honeymooners.
Understood.
So he finds a hardware store owner that says he'd do it, but he needs to know who he is. And he's like, well, okay. And the movie house across the street was playing a movie that he'd done a bit part in.
Okay.
And he said, look, I'll pay for the movie. If you come with me, you'll see me on the screen and we can put,
Yeah.
And the guy's like, he's got nothing to do that day. He's like, yeah, whatever.
Sure. They
get in and the movie's half over, and Jackie Gleason, of course, doesn't know where his bit's going to be in the movie. They film them and the editor puts them wherever they're going to be. So he watches half a movie with this hardware shop owner, and it ends, and he hasn't been in it. And he's like, I'm telling you, I'm in this movie.
God, that must be so crazy awkward.
Yeah. He goes, look, the next showing is about to start. I will pay for more tickets. We can watch the first half of the movie, and you can see that I'm in this movie.
Right.
And the guy's like, all right.
Wow.
Yeah, so he pays for another 2 tickets, and they watch, and the movie starts, and Jackie Gleason's in the first scene, and the guy looks at him and looks at the thing, and Jackie's like, okay, it's me. I'm a movie star.
Yeah.
Let's go. We'll cash a check. I can get a train to New York. And the hardware store owner's like, well, I kind of want to see the rest of the movie. So he had to sit through the first half of the movie with this guy.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's some crazy awkward.
Looking at the train pulling in like, okay, can we... Well, there was nothing he could do. And he made his train, but just very tightly. But yeah, it just made me laugh.
Yeah. Well, I guess it's the modern equivalent would be Google me?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah. Well, yeah, forget. I mean, that's not that long ago, too. When would that would have been? Like the 30s?
Yeah.
I guess that is a long time ago. It's like 100 years ago.
100 dang years ago. Pretty far in the past.
Yeah. Yeah. I just thought it was crazy that, like, people were out there getting around. Nobody knew who the fuck anybody else was. Like,
no idea. Somebody could just show up in a town and just go, I'm famous.
Yeah.
Huh? Oh. Sure, we don't get many of them around here. Want some chowder?
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, where was I recently? And it was in Australia. And I was asked for ID. I was like, I don't have any ID on me. They're like, well, I'm sorry, you can't. I'm like, well, I'm clearly like an adult. I'm like, yeah, well, not without ID. I'm sorry. Just can't. Wow. I mean, have you any other way that you could prove who you are? And I was like, looked around to make sure nobody could overhear me. And you could Google me? Like, and the guy was like, what? Because I've got a Wikipedia entry. Like, you can see clips of me on TV shows. And that's what happened. He went away to his boss, and the two of them just went behind the counter and just watched an awkwardly long amount of stuff of me online before finally coming back over and going, all right, that checks out. But I was just stood there. Well, these two dudes aren't laughing at these clips, but just watching.
That checks out.
You son of a gun. Don't ever drink it. Don't ever eat any seafood around me again.
I've heard this from a lot of people. Wow, they Googled you. Yeah.
Yeah. It was literally something that would have, you know, I really, really needed to prove who I was.
Yeah.
That I hadn't got any ID on me. So that's kind of the modern equivalent.
Did I tell you what happened with my neighbor? I had new neighbors move in. And I was it was like 9 o'clock at night. I walked out the door and they were walking in because I'd heard them in the place.
Yeah.
And I was all disheveled and just going to the shop to get more candy kind of thing. You know?
I got to tell you, I've known you a long time. You're never shoveled.
No, I'm not a shoveling man. But this is 9 o'clock disheveling.
Okay. Know the guy? Met him before?
Yeah. So I needed to tell them, I needed to forward them an email for the parking, like something not just, okay, give me your email address. I'll help you with this, you know, just not even a friendly, like, oh, let's have drinks. No, there's a parking issue and you got to talk to this guy. And I just had my notebook in my back pocket and I just handed it to him. And then I remembered it's what I'm working on my Edinburgh show notebook with. So I'll sometimes just get snippets of, you know, just the things that I'll write it down the way I want to say it, you know, and there's not the whole bit around it, but it's a punchline or something. And she was writing out her email, and then I was like, I could see like her face sort of changed, and then she finished writing it, and she handed me the notebook back. I was like, okay, I gotta go. Like that. I went back inside, and I looked, and it said, it's not that I don't believe in God. I just think he's a cunt. Which in the context of the show, it's a very funny moment. But if somebody just has that in a notebook.
I just met you.
Hello, neighbor.
You're going in the notebook. Here's your special page.
Yeah.
New neighbors. Mind if I call you fresh meat?
Yeah. Oh, I've been listening to you guys through the wall. Oh, you've been there for about 5 days and 17 hours and 32 minutes.
Let me ask you a question. You wake up in the middle of the night to hear somebody digging. What do? You get out of bed? Get nosy? I just roll over and keep living your life.
Yeah, that's right. Keep living. Keep alive.
I put most of my non sequitur kind of notes like that into the notes in me phone.
Yeah.
And our mutual dear friend Timothy Fitzhyam was around me gaff. He stayed over a couple of weeks back, and we had a rare old time, laughing deep into the night, right? But there was one thing that made the two of us laugh so much. me, Tim and Flynn just laughing our guts out. And I wrote it down on my phone. I was like, I gotta remember that. Right? And I woke up the next day absolutely proud as punch with myself. I went, this is going to be great. What was it? I've got a closer for my new Edinburgh show. Here we go.
Stop the press. We're going to have to change all the literature.
Yeah, here we go. All I wrote was 2 words that simply said, Hetero erectus. Half an hour we laughed the night before. Don't know what the context we were laughing about. Just hetero erectus.
How much chowder had the fella's been enjoying before that?
Some.
Yeah, the parsley for the chowder.
It's just a lot of parsley in that chowder. Well, very good. Jackie Gleason. There's another fact about Jackie Gleason. I didn't realise that he was he was also a huge music star as well.
He was. He made a bunch of albums that were, nobody wanted those albums either because he didn't really play on them. He just sort of, he got musicians together.
Yeah. They were kind of easy listening albums. But his first one, Music for Lovers Only.
I know.
It's extraordinary. It's like something that R. Kelly would knock out in the 90s.
Yeah, like, did they check when they sold it to you? No, where are you going with this? I'm just going to go home and masturbate. No.
My mind's telling me no, but my body's saying punch him to the moon. Yeah, but he still holds the record for longest time in the Billboard charts with that Music for Lovers Only album. 153 weeks.
Smash hit. Nobody wanted it. Well,
there you go. Listen, before we move on, I would... he's a living legend of the show business game. I think we should pay honour to. A living piece of show business history. Dick Van Dyke is 98 now, and he's just made show business history. He's just become the oldest person.
The oldest man to be arrested.
They ain't never gonna pull Dickie in for nothing.
They're looking for a Cockney man.
We're looking for a Cockney man who's got some soot on his face. 98, and he's just won an Emmy. He's the oldest ever Emmy winner.
What was he in?
I don't know. Maybe they just gave him an honorary one. I don't know. But he's still working. He's still
like
at
Survivor.
it. He's still at it. He's still very much in the business.
Really?
Yeah. And afterwards, when he won the award, he then did a dance routine down the red carpet. Oh, he's the business out.
That was Dick Van Dyke. I saw that old guy dancing down the carpet.
Yeah, he wears a beard now. Yeah, it's Dick Van Dyke.
He can grow a beard.
He can now. Yeah. He can now. Well, there you go.
That's it. Yeah. Wow.
Well,
way to go, Dick.
There you go. 2 thumbs up for you, Dick Van Dyke.
Yeah. Have you met Harvey Ball, Dick?
Oh, God. And now, for our final story of History of the Eejits of the World, Part 2. This is the history of facial hair in the British Army.
Wow.
Yeah. It's actually a more complex story than you might imagine, my friend. Because right now, there is a major debate of whether British soldiers can have a beard. I mean, obviously. You know. Back in the army town.
Yeah.
Her name's Joan.
And she has her own interests.
Yes. Her interests include Susan. Anyway, yeah, so it's something that just never occurred to you until somebody points it out. Oh, yeah. So sailors are allowed to have beards.
I thought they had to have beards.
No, not anymore.
Oh, okay.
They're allowed to live openly. But they...
the sailors were always living openly. There was nobody.
Nobody was ever surprised.
Even back in the 50s, they knew. Oh, no.
Yeah, they were away for a long time in that submarine. Anyway.
That's why they do it.
That and wanting to defend the free world from underneath an ocean. So the Royal Navy, they're allowed to have beards. The RAF, the Air Force, they're allowed to have beards. But there's a crazy exception. So you're not allowed to have a beard in the British Army, although they're, debating whether to repeal it.
Yeah.
Right? But the exception, you can ask your commanding officer if you can grow a beard, but more than likely you'll only be given that permission if for religious reasons. Classically, I suppose, Sikhs.
You'd think, yeah.
Yeah, you'd imagine that's probably where they're going with it. But the only other exception to that is there was one man in the British Army who was allowed to have a beard, and he's called the Goat Major.
Oh, God. How did he get that nickname?
He is a corporal in the Royal Welsh Regiment.
That's where it happens. It's in Wales. Okay.
Yeah. And he minds the goat.
Well, you call it what you will.
An actual goat. The
real goat, okay.
The regimental
doesn't
goat.
Make it better. The what?
The regimental goat.
Oh, God, I hope that's not somebody else's nickname.
Sadly, no.
Susan, the regimental goat.
No, that's why we make the goat grow a beard, so there's no sexual ambiguity. Everybody knows. You can't go, I don't know, I was a bit drunk, I thought it was a lady goat. With that giant beard, mate. You're lying to yourself. So the goat major is the only man in the British Army who's allowed to wear a beard, and he's allowed to grow a beard because he minds the regimental goat.
So it relaxes the goat?
I don't know. Maybe he's like, hello, see what I see.
Yeah, why?
Me and you, we've both got beards and we both live under a bridge.
In case the regimental goat is not able to fulfill his duties, the lance corporal has to step in and do all the jobs the goat was doing.
Selwyn, you wouldn't mind getting on all fours, would you?
Suppose it's the cost of doing business with this beard.
Fair enough. As a goat major, would you like me to eat some underwear off a washing line?
We'd like you to stop, to be honest.
For God's sake, man, stop eating the camouflage. Just eat the undies.
I didn't see it.
It tickled me more than it should have done. So the reason is the history, because that's the purpose of this particular episode.
Yeah.
The history of the beard was from Elizabethan times until the 1850s, the Crimea War. It was there were no beards in the British Army. You weren't allowed to have a beard. And then it was so cold in the Crimea War, which is, where Crimea is to this day in southern Ukraine. They relaxed the rules and let them grow beards. And it was one of the first photographed wars.
Yeah.
So the pictures came back of these extremely manly-looking bearded soldiers. And they had the Scottish Highland regiments. When they had the victory parade in London, Queen Victoria was there, and she was apparently very taken by the view of all these men with their giant beards. And that's how it became fashionable.
Helped her lie back and think of England.
Well, quite. That's right, Albert. Tickle me. Not with your hands. Tickle me like a Scotsman. Oh, I think we all know what that means. Yeah.
I didn't think they won the Crimea War.
Yeah.
Did they?
Yeah, the Brits and the French and the Ottomans defeated the Russians. It was probably one of those wars where they ended with a settlement and a sort of zero.
Right.
Yeah, but I think technically the Brits, the French, and the Ottomans were.
I know it was
winners.
Terrible for the Brits. That I think there was a problem, and many of the soldiers had two left shoes on.
Right.
There was a screw up, like a big load of shoes showed up, and they're like, "Finally, we have boots." Oh,
God! How gutted would you be if you got your left foot blown off?
We're trying to do a pincer move and get the left boots regimen hooked up with the right boot regimen. We'll cut off supply lines and we'll be able to get natural boots at that point. We can just meet.
Yeah. If we do this badly, there will be plenty of boots for everyone. All right. Pretty much how we ran the operation around here.
Yeah.
We've run out of boots. But so it really quickly took off as a sign of virility and martial manliness in Victorian England, Victorian Britain.
Or they all had double chins.
Yeah, well, quite. Or no chin.
Yeah.
That's one of the great things that a beard hides. Not my case. I've got a very pointy elfin chin.
I wonder Wonder why that is.
Shut your mouth, I swear to God. Well, hide your gold. So by in the British Army, literally a mere couple of years later in 1860, it became mandatory that if you were an officer in the British Army, you had to have a moustache.
Wow.
Right? You had to have a moustache. So much so that if you couldn't grow a moustache, right, you would be issued with the fake moustache. Right? And that rule only fell out of favour in 1916. You know, halfway through the fucking First World War. So for the first 2 years of the First World War, those young Tommies who were like, okay, boys, over the trenches, there was a strong possibility that the Rupert that was ordering you to walk slowly towards your impending muddy doom had a fake tash hanging off his sweaty face.
Half hanging off, dangling like a caterpillar.
Okay, boys, try and take this seriously, will you? We're doing for king and country, eh? King and country.
Glue boy, attend to my mustache.
Yes. Somebody deal with it. That's extraordinary.
I know. I read that fact.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Imagine that. Like how little, esprit de corps can a man garner from taking orders from a man with a fake tash on?
Especially if you had a real... were they allowed to grow mustaches? Like
No. Tommies. Not the rank and file. Don't think so. Cold water shave in a muddy tunnel for later.
Yeah, you've got trench foot, and you're trying to figure out how to shave through the reflections of your buddy's blood. He's bled out enough that there's a little bit of a reflection you can see in his blood. Your face. You're just trying to get that mustache off, and then the old
get that mustache. What are you, hippie?
Dangler.
Exactly. What we do is we use rat's eyes for mirrors. Hold a rat up to your face.
You gotta squeeze him. You want it bulgy.
Nice and bulgy. That's where you get him, sir. Lovely shave. Madness.
Yeah.
There you go.
Excellent.
And
wow.
that is the history of military faces.
Yeah, I hope they let the bearded in the army, and turns out that's why we had such a small army. It was just all the hipster barbers going, well, I'm not going in unless I can keep this. And then they opened the doors and they all flooded in.
That's right. I think that's probably the answer.
Yeah.
I can tell you, us two bearded men just can't wait for the day that we have to sign up for Rishi Sunak's army.
National service.
Come on, Rishi. Grow a hair on your face. So smooth. So smooth.
Yeah.
Never met him. Looks like he's quite aftershavey, though.
Yeah.
You would say so, wouldn't you? I bet he's probably quite fragrant.
Yeah. It doesn't look like he stinks. He just looks like a regular guy.
Fair enough. Strange conclusion to the episode. Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us on our third installment of Eejits of the World History.
Hister 3.
Hister 3. Okay. Please like and subscribe.
Do that.
We're on all your social media platforms. Please interact with them. Join us, follow us. We put out clips every week. Like them, look at them, share them.
Come around the house.
Ogle them if you must.
I'll rub your feet.
He will. I
Just
won't.
the left one.
I will.
But I'm the one who knows which one's the left one. Don't assume.
Like and subscribe. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for joining us this week. It has been a Pod People production.